Welcome back to another episode. I'm part of a number of beginner Facebook groups for photography. And the question always comes up, I'm looking to get my first camera. What camera do you recommend? What camera should I buy? Now, I have seen some wackadoodle responses to those questions. Beginners being told to go get a Canon R5, go get a Nikon Z9, go get a Sony A1, Sony A7 5, like these are beginners. They don't have, at least I'm assuming they don't have the budget to jump to that level of a camera. It's their very first camera, which got me thinking. When I started, my first digital camera was this amazing Fujifilm s700. At least when I had bought it, I thought it was amazing. It's all digital, has an electronic viewfinder, uh, it has auto mode, it's got a super macro mode, it's 71 megapixels of absolute softness. But I was able to get some of my favorite photos with this thing. I don't have them now. I'm still looking for them. This was way, way, way back in 2007. So this camera is like 18, 19 years old, somewhere around there, just before becoming a vintage camera. Now, just to give you an idea as to how old this technology is, let me just put it into high speed shooting here. So I am at 1/1000th of a second shutter speed, and watch how long this takes to shoot 3 photos. Ready? Here we go. I'm going to take shots of myself. That's how long it takes. So in the moment, split-second decisions, not this camera's forte. Not at all. However, the lens is a 35 millimeter to 380 millimeter equivalent focal length. So 10 times optical zoom, and then it has a digital zoom on top of that, which extends this to, I believe it was 1,280 millimeters. Yeah, so crazy, crazy specs on the lens. And it's a f3.5 to f3.7 lens. Surprisingly, even at the full optical range at 380 millimeters, it's a 3.7 f-stop lens. So that is actually pretty amazing. Now, given the fact that this thing is super slow to shoot with, I took it upon myself to revisit this camera. I went to a spot that I frequent just to see what I could get. And it does illustrate the point that I always try to bring to beginners. Never mind the gear. You don't need the absolute latest and greatest. Any camera within the past, say 5 years, 6 years, is a fantastic camera that can accomplish everything you need it to do. What you need to focus on is your skills. You can take any camera, as long as your skills are good, you could take any camera and get really good results. So let's see what happened when I took this thing out and went to go shoot some wildlife. Now, part of the issue with this camera is, so as you can see here, I'm in shutter priority mode, and I have the shutter speed down here. And the only way you can adjust the shutter speed, there's no auto ISO. So you have to use exposure compensation and press the buttons up and down in order to adjust the shutter speed, and it only goes to 1/1000th of a second. Or you can use exposure compensation. Those are your only choices. So it takes a while to change settings. So when I first arrived, there were these Canada geese just lying all along the path, and the color rendition's really, really good. I really am impressed with the way this renders colors and the color science, and just the way it saturates things, and there's something about those CCD sensors. Now this is where the camera really excels, is with macro. You can get as close as 1 centimeter for macro. So that is the piece de resistance of this camera. However, as you can see, it does do remarkably well with just standard general everyday photography as well, right? Now, this is completely out of focus, and there's a very good reason why. This is weird. Continuous autofocus only works when you're not pressing the shutter. So let's grab a shot of the carpet here, hold the shutter button down. I'll go over by the chair. You'll see it's out of focus, and if I let go of the shutter, then it focuses. So that's another issue in regards to shooting with this camera. You really have to think ahead in order to capture things. And just being very patient and allowing the birds to get used to me, I was able to capture this chickadee. And I captured some geese in flight with this bad boy. So, all things considered, no, you do not need the top of the line, latest and greatest things, especially if you're a beginner. You should be focusing more on your lens choices. That's where your money should go. As I said, any camera within the past 5, 6, even 7 years will be remarkably good and will allow you to do everything that you're trying to do. But 99% of this comes back down on your skill factor. If I could take a 19-year-old retro 7.1 megapixel CCD sensor camera with no auto ISO, no jog dials for being able to access setting changes very quickly or efficiently, a really, really terrible EVF with absolute minimal sharpness, and get results like this, there's absolutely no reason why you can't, even with a budget-friendly price for a camera on the used market. Yeah, that's really going to be it for this video. There's not much else to say, except for the fact that don't get caught up in the hype. Just don't. You're not there yet. As camera prices go up in tier, they become more complicated, which is just going to frustrate you even more. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts, and these are the results of using a retro FujiFilm s700, which is the digital camera that got me started when I transitioned from film. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. If you like the video, leave a like. All that stuff is fantastic for the algorithm, which is the king of the YouTube world, which is where I am residing. And you'll catch me on my next video. I'm out.